Hello and welcome to today's discussion. Today we're going to conclude our discussion of business model canvas and business model generation by talking about the process for business model design. So today we're going to talk about the value of business model generation, and we're going to explore the process for designing business models, and we're going to summarize our discussion of the business model canvas. So there are a number of objectives that can drive the decision to develop a new business model. One is to try and satisfy existing but unanswered market needs. Another is to bring a new technology or product or service to market, and this is the case typically for an entrepreneurial venture. There may be the opportunity to improve or disrupt or transform the existing markets with a better business model. So if you're already operating a company, there may be the opportunity to enhance and expand what you're doing, and using the business model canvas is a technique for doing that. Or there may be entirely new markets that you can explore, and the business model canvas is a great way of trying to frame that and explore that. Now, the process for business model is certainly fundamental, and it presents an opportunity to evaluate the opportunities and challenges, to quantify the risk and rewards. And so the process that we'll discuss here is your starting point. And it really begins with mobilizing yourself, preparing for a successful design, of employing and or engaging with your co-founders, with other advisors, to have a commitment and a common understanding of what is the business model canvas, what's it used for, and how you can develop it. Of really understanding and doing research. So the business model canvas is more than just a platform to brainstorm. It should be research supported, and that in time you're going to go through and you're going to do some primary research of talking to customers, of secondary research and looking at market reports and research data, and that you are also analyzing. So again, it's not just brainstorming, it's not just what you think, but it's what you think that is supported by comprehensive research and analysis. There's also the design element of going through and generating and testing viable options, and that rarely is the first idea of how to serve a market the best idea or the right idea. And there may be several iterations of that you go through before you find the right set of solutions. The implementation is certainly central to that as well, and that once you've gone through, you've done your design, you've tested some options, you begin implementing on a larger scale. And then there's the management aspect of how to adapt and modify and grow the business model over time, and recognizing that it's a living document and that things are going to change in the market, customers are going to change, competitors are going to change, and we want to make sure that our business model adapts as it needs to over time. The customer development model is central to that, and customer discovery is what we mean at the very beginning of going through and understanding the customer's problems and needs. That we can then validate that the solutions we have in mind are indeed desirable, and that we have a sales model that can be scaled and implemented. We also want to think about the customer creation aspect of continuing to create and drive end-user demand, and what we can do to either serve existing customers in new ways, or how can we go through and serve new customers in new ways. And there's always the company building aspect to think about too, in that where are we going to take the company next, what are future products and solutions that we can offer, and how do we adapt and grow our organization. And this is very much an iterative process, and that customer discovery should be something that's ongoing, particularly as you're considering what new products and solutions we can offer into the market. And so getting the right answer is desirable, and I use right somewhat generic in the context of it's our best guess based on the research and analysis that we've done of who are our customers, what are their problems and needs and desires, how can we segment them into market niches, what are the types of things when we think about the day in the life, and this is where the empathy map that we discussed previously is helpful, of what are the challenges and opportunities that they're engaged in and how can we add value to that. And what we mean by ROI is return on investment. And so for that, we want to think broadly about what are the financial implications of not only developing and manufacturing our product and or delivering our service, but what are all the other costs employed with that? What are the marketing costs? What are the sales costs? What are the other overhead and organizational costs that we incur to bring that product or service to market in a sustainably competitive way? And so in the beginning, when we think about business models, there is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of research, a lot of ideation. We have many different ideas and solutions that we could bring to market. And we want to be thoughtful in going through and looking broadly at all the viable alternatives as far as the products and the services and the features and the functions and the various customer segments that we can serve within the market. And in time, this uncertainty gets more certain. We go through, we develop our designs and our prototypes, we go from our napkin sketch of to a more viable business model canvas, and it gives us better definition not only about the product, but about the customers and the markets that we're serving as well. And in time, once we've tested our assumptions, once we begin to validate and get feedback from customers and others, we're in an implementation phase with some degree of clarity and focus. And so in that way, I would say the business is rarely absolutely certain, but at least we are able, through the business model canvas and the subsequent testing and refining of that, to gain a level of clarity and improve focus of what do we do as an organization, what do we not do, what products and services are we going to target to which customers, on what timeline, at what cost, and what products and services are we not going to do, what types of customers are we not going to serve based on their needs or wants or willingness to pay. So within that, the business model should evolve to help us grow from this uncertainty into focus through research and understanding of this opportunity. And so within that canvas, this is the deliverable for this week, and we'll include some more details here. But what we're doing is asking you to go through and identify a candidate concept and outline the business model canvas that would be appropriate for the evaluation and the implementation of that concept. So today we have concluded our discussion of the business model canvas. We've talked about patterns, designing, strategies, and then today the process of how you go about going through and understanding the canvas, considering the various building blocks, and employing that to new venture concepts that you have. Thank you.